Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome back to today's class. I am Dave on behalf of SUVY Classes here. As you all know that we have been revising our science syllabus of class 6 previously. Today is our third session and today I have come up with unit 3 and 4 ready with me. So we will start revising it now. Okay. So let's get started with today's lecture. Hmm, Okay. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible. Yes. Yeah, you can extensively reply via chat box. I am constantly looking at it. Uh, like I have joined via two devices, so it's clearly visible to me what all is being written in the chat box by you. Okay, so feel free to write anything there. Well, whatever is asked, that you have to write. Don't write anything else. Okay. So, children, if you remember that we have done unit one, yeah, we have done unit 1 and unit 2 where we mainly discussed about the food and food habits, right? There we discussed like various sources of food, be it plants or be it animals. Then we moved ahead to components of food where we studied about various nutrients, right? We studied about carbohydrates, we studied about proteins, we studied about fats, we did minerals and vitamins, five food nutrients. Then we went for balanced diet, right? Then we studied about deficiency diseases, where I said that that's very important topic. Most of the questions in your exam will be based on deficiency diseases of various nutrients. Like if vitamin D is in deficiency, then what is the disease that is caused? If you could reply to the chat box. I am constantly looking at it. Very good. Very well said. It's rickets. Had it been vitamin C, it is scurvy. Right, right. So in a similar pattern, you can keep on revising things. It will help you to like what should I say? The things will remain in your mind for a longer period of time if you constantly revise it. Okay. So today we have to revise unit 3 and unit 4. Okay. So following the similar pattern, firstly, I'll discuss the main components of the units via slides that I have prepared for you. Then we will go for quiz 1. Then we will go for second chapter, means the fourth chapter. We'll go through the slides and again go through the quiz 2 of this particular session. And at last, we'll go for filling the feedback form. Okay, so I hope you all are ready. Let's get started. Okay, so the first unit is fiber to fabric. Fiber to fabric. Fine. Okay. So what is fabric and what is fiber? You might have heard a very famous term, fabric. People say that today I bought a shirt. A shirt. My drawing is not that good, but I hope you will get to know that this is a shirt. Okay. Assume it to be a shirt. I got a shirt today from market. It's a cotton shirt. Have you heard it? Cotton shirt. Your moms would get, saris from market. They may be silk saris. Kanchipuram silk or Kanchipuram silk, be it Banarasi silk. There are very, numerous varieties of silk. Silk saris, right? Yeah, screen is visible. Silk saris, or like jute bags. Have you heard of jute bags? Bags, we all know. A bag is something, an object where we keep things, right? A bag is something where we keep things, right? Bag. So this may be made up of jute bags. What is jute? What is silk? What is cotton? These all are fibers. These all are, oh, I'm very sorry. These are fabrics. These are fabrics. Fabrics are piece of cloth most of the times which are used to prepare other objects. Like I can say fabric is a raw material used for preparation of refined material products like clothes we wear, bags we carry. Okay, it has been mentioned here, woolen mufflers. Woolen, where does wool comes from? We know it comes from sheep, right? You can write it in the chat box. Now where does cotton comes from? I am reading the chat box. Yes, cotton comes from cotton plant. Okay, it's been so much of highlighting here. I'll erase few things. Otherwise, it gets quite confusing sometimes to, grasp things. So I'll just erase from here. Okay, so you might have got a concept in your mind that what is fiber or fabric. Fabric is basically a raw material from which we make refined or finished products like our clothes or bags and many more things. Okay, yeah. So woolen muffler, wool comes from sheep's, cotton comes from cotton plant, silk come from silkworms. You know this? Silk comes from silkworms. Silkworms are insects that produces silk. Now, what do? They make a cocoon around them. Okay, something kind of this. This is silk cocoon. Though we need not to go for details, but just for the sake of knowledge, I can share it here today. That silk worm produces silk via silk cocoon. We collect this cocoon and extract silk fibers from it, and then we convert this fiber to fabric. Okay, we shall discuss the process in next forthcoming slides, but just for sake of sources, what is the source of silk? It is an insect, a silkworm. Okay, do you know, children, China is the biggest producer of silk. There is a famous, a historic reference related to silk with China, that a silk route was established between China and Europe, where it was, a silk corridor that was used for the, import and export of products, which mainly included the export of silk from China to the West. So that's a famous thing, silk routes. Okay, then synthetics. Now, what are synthetics? You might have seen there are few clothes that are, kind of plastics, kind of, they don't feel like, natural cloth. Synthetic fibers. These are termed as synthetic fibers. So that comes under, or I should say, synthetic fabrics. Fiber and fabric, these two words are closely related but are different. Keep in mind. That's why I have changed my words many a times today, that it's not fiber, it's fabric. We are discussing fabric in this slide. So keep in mind, these are two different things. All right. So I have discussed about woolen fabric, cotton fabric, silk fabric, and synthetic fabrics, not fibers yet. Okay. Okay. So now, just a moment. Actually, this platform, this method I'm using for first time. So on this edge, so it gets tough sometimes to manage things. Okay, so now next slide. Okay, so you might have seen, this kind of thing many a times. that when we take a piece of cloth, we can extract small threads from it. And when I extract one, second one gets ready to come out. When I extract second one, third one comes out, ready to come out, third one comes out, fourth one gets in line, then fourth comes out. Similarly, if I extract all, cloth is nothing but cloth is nothing but formed of thread like structures. Agreed? You can observe this in sacks, SACKS. SACKS. Okay. When you pull out one thread, other one gets ready to come out. Okay. This proves, okay, this cloth is nothing but fabric, and these thread-like structures are can be called, not are, I'm saying can be called as fibers. Okay. So I can say that fabric is made up of fibers. Okay, what am I saying is that any fiber that we use, be it cotton, like yeah, here, be it cotton, be it silk, be it synthetic fibers, fabrics or woolen fabrics, are all made up of fibers. Are all made up of fibers. Okay, I hope you are getting my point. What am I saying is all fabrics are made up of fibers. Okay. These are the basic units which are combined together to make fabric. Now I shall discuss a flowchart probably in the next slide. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. As I said, it's a flowchart now. Listen carefully. Okay. It's very important to listen. What is done is, firstly, we collect fiber. Fiber is usually collected from uh, plants or animals. You might have seen in older days that people used to wear skin of few animals. People from the Stone Age, and where clothing was not as prevalent as it is today. People used to wear animal skin. Also, if I talk about cotton, cotton has been taken from plants, right? So cotton or animal skin or silk are taken either from plants or animals. This is nothing but fiber. Now this fiber will be processed to form fabric. Okay, so we have discussed it earlier also that fiber will be processed, some process will be used to convert this fiber to fabric. Now, in this process, children, there is an intermediate stage where we get yarns. Okay. And using this yarns, we get fabric. Now, I'll explain. When we go to a cotton plant, if I take this example, things will get very clear. You might have observed in cotton plants, you might have seen plants or might have not seen cotton plants. They contain balls, cotton balls. Now these balls cannot be worn or these cannot be used to make cloth directly, right? You need to make it, kind of, you need to flatten these, or you should make some kind of thread from it so that that thread can be used to make the fabric. So this thread is nothing but yarn. Okay. So what is done is this cotton balls are sent to a cottage industry or an industry where this cotton balls are converted to cotton yarn, and this cotton yarn is then converted to cotton fabric in another industry. Okay, so firstly, we get fiber from the source, smallest element in the textile technology. Then we go to yarns, which are twisted strands of fibers. We just take cotton balls, we twist them and make long strands. That is nothing but a thread. Now, I will use so many threads and keep them together and I will get my, this is nothing but cloth, or I can not cloth, I should call it as fabric. I should call it as fabric. Similarly, if I take jute fibers, jute fibers will be clubbed together to form jute fabric. I hope I am making my point clear to you. Then cloth made of various by various methods. Okay, so as I said, yarn will be used by ARN. It's also known as filament. Will be used to make the fabric. Here you can send emoticons, emojis in the chat box, which makes things clear to me as well. Whether the concept I'm explaining. Okay, great. I can see many of them in the chat box. So now let's move ahead with the topic. Okay. So the thin strands of threads that we see are made up of still thinner strands called fibers. Yes, as I said earlier, I shown it to you in the earlier slide also. Here, I said that these are thin strands. Thin strands, I call them as threads, and these threads are still made up of smaller strands, which are known as fibers. Okay, and this thread is nothing but yarn. Yes, so I can say if this is the fabric, this is made up of yarn, and yarn is made up of fibers. Okay, so it is the fabric is made up of yarn, and yarns are made up of fibers. So that's the chart, the flow of the production. So we can write it over here, that okay, that would give us a clear understanding. If I am talking about a fabric is made up of what it is made up of. Yes, answer it in the chat. Very good. It is made up of yarn, and yarn is made up of fibers. All right, this is the entire chart flow. Or say, like, I should draw in opposite way. Why should I draw it in opposite way? The reason is that after all, fibers will be used to make yarn, and yarn will be used to make fabric, right? Fibers will be collected from plants or animals, and this fiber will be converted to yarn, and yarn will be converted to fabric, right? Now, very important. As I said it to you earlier that these fibers can be sourced from plants or animals. Also, listen to me carefully. These fibers can be synthetically prepared. Plastic. Plastic is not taken from any plant or any plant or animal. Plastic, or not just plastic, like I have mentioned here, polyester, nylon and acrylic. These are not taken from plants or animals. These are synthetically prepared by human beings in industries, in factories, in labs. Okay, firstly they are prepared in small amount in labs, they are tested, then they are prepared in small industries, and when the product gets validated, it's prepared on the larger scale in big industries. Okay, so that's the basic thing. So as I said, they can be either taken from plants or animals. Plants and animals are your natural resources. So the fibers obtained from plants and animals would be termed as natural fibers. The fibers of some fabrics such as cotton taken from cotton plant, jute taken from jute plant, silk taken from silkworm, wool taken from sheep are obtained from plants and animals. These are called natural fibers. Substances which are not obtained from plants or animal sources, as I said, are prepared in labs, then small industry, then larger industries, are known as synthetic fibers. And few examples that you all should know very well of synthetic fibers are polyester, nylon, and acrylic. Okay, And children, just for curiosity, your curiosity, I can say, when you will move to higher classes like standard 11 and 12, we study things in so detail that, we even study structures, chemical structures of polyesters, nylon. Okay, one more thing, like since we are discussing nylon, do you know NYLON? NY stands for New York and LON stands for London. Because as I said, synthetic fibers are prepared in lab, and nylon was a joint venture of two laboratories from New York and London. Hence, they named this fibers as nylon. And there are many varieties of nylon. When you go to market to buy, not market, I should say, when you go to labs, you can say, the different varieties: nylon 6, nylon 6 6, nylon 6, as I said, then nylon 2 6. There are many varieties. So, well, that's not needed, but still, there should be some extra knowledge given to you if you are coming to our classes for, getting things. So, it's our duty to share some more details. Okay, let's move ahead. We have not sufficient time today. Okay, so now, very important, it's very important, it's also deeply taught in the syllabus. Okay, I should not write this here, it doesn't look good. Okay, so cotton, let's talk about cotton. I just said that we are preparing cotton clothes. So firstly we will study the process of fiber to yarn. Fiber to yarn. Now, fiber shall be prepared from the direct source. As I said, cotton is taken in the form of cotton balls from the cotton plant. Usually, we hand pick these. These terms are very important. Cotton fields, note the spellings. Then we hand pick them. Hand picking is the process of taking cotton balls from the cotton plant. And these cotton balls are then taken for the processing, and this process is known as ginning of cotton balls. GINNING. GINNING. Note it down. This is the process where we remove seeds. What is this? This is nothing but fruit of the cotton plant. Fruit has seeds. So seeds need to be removed from the cotton balls, and this process is known as ginning. Okay, then this is sent to small industries where it is converted from cotton balls to cotton yarn. Very good. Okay, yeah, now jute. Jute is again, yeah, this is sack. Thank God I have added this photo here. It will give us a better clarity that, jute, it's again very important, resource that we are using these days. Just a moment, I'll enter into the full screen now. Yeah. Yeah. So this is jute is used to prepare jute bags mainly. Okay. So this is a jute plant, and jute is extracted from the jute stem. Jute stem. Jute fibers is obtained from the stem of the jute plant. The stem of the harvested plants are immersed in water for a few days. Like, I'll just cut out this plant from ground and I will place it in water for a few days. The stems rot. Rot means they just spoil, and fibers are separated by hands. So what happens is they just loosen the fibers. Like, if I keep the jute plant in water, the fibers will lose out and I will get the fibers by hand. This is a hand process. It's done by hands, not by machine. So it takes a lot of time. It's time consuming. Okay. Yeah. Now yarn. As I said earlier that we are converting anyhow fiber to yarn and then to fabric. Children, this flowchart should be in your mind while studying this chapter. And when you know this flowchart, you will easily do this. Okay, you might have seen this device. This is a charkha. Gandhiji used to use it a lot. This indicated, Swadeshi, in Made in India. And these days we are observing that Made in India campaign is at boom, and we should use Indian products because after all it will help our Indian artists to grow. Okay, Western things are good, but we should also use Swadeshi things in, extensively. More we should use them. Okay, so basically, spinning of yarn on a larger scale is done with the spinning machine. Okay, now children, what we have done, we have got yarn in the previous step from fiber to yarn. Like I said, we have collected the jute fibers, we have twisted them round, we have got cotton balls, we have done ginning, and we have got the yarn. Now this yarn has to be converted to fabric, or a better yield of yarn which shall be converted to fabric. So for that we go for spinning, and spinning is basically done on spinning tools such as charkha. After spinning, yarns are used for making fabric. So spinning is the process we convert yarn to a better form. Spinning machines are also available. Like charkha was an older step. Now we have automated machines for this process. Okay, now next, fabric. Now, as I said, we are converting now yarn to fabric. We have got yarn, we did what we did, spinning, and now we have got yarn, and now we will convert this yarn to fabric. For this, we again use machines. First process is weaving. First process, children, there are two, three processes that I will be discussing now. First process is weaving. Now, what is weaving? I will explain you. If I take 4, 5, 3, 4, like I take strands like this, these are yarn strands, and now I will get more yarn strands and I will keep over this. Okay. And if I keep so many, it will form a cloth. Right? There is also an activity in your NCRT textbook. If you read it, you will get a more better clarity. So this is nothing but a cloth. This is a fabric, right? So yarns together to make a fabric is called weaving. This process is weaving, where we keep two yarns. So how many yarns did we use? We used two yarns to make a piece of cloth, to make a piece of fiber. By the process of weaving, we use two yarns. All right. Weaving of fabric is done on looms. This process is done via looming machines. These are the very important terms. You should go through them again and again. There are many a times children make spelling errors. Two sets of yarn are woven to make a fabric. As I said, two sets of yarn are woven to make a fabric. The looms are either hand operated or power operated. Okay, like this is a power operated looming machine. See how big it is. So we are just inserting two yarns here, and here we are getting the piece of fabric. How beautifully it has been made now. Okay, so like for example, if my cotton plants give me white, so how am I getting a blue color here? Because I have added some, devices here which may contain blue color, which is coloring my piece of fabric. Okay, maybe direct, or there can be a process that I get a white fabric and this white fabric will be later colored. Okay, getting my point? Okay. Okay, so just a moment. We have seen this. We have seen it. Now, as we have seen, there is a process called, this one, weaving. Now we have next process as knitting. We have next process as knitting. You might have seen your grandmothers knitting sweaters for you. What do? They take this wool and they use these knitting rods and they knit sweaters. They knit mufflers for you, especially northern India. Southern India doesn't face so much of cold, but in North India we have intense cold weather during December and January. So people usually wear woolen clothes here, usually, like it's where a more period of time as compared to the South India. So in knitting, a single yarn is used. As I said, a single yarn. I didn't say, but now I'm saying a single yarn will be used. This is the point of difference. Question may be asked in your schools or any exam that you give, that what is the difference between knitting and weaving? So in weaving, we are using two sets of yarn, and in knitting, we are using only one set of yarn to make a piece of fabric. Okay, socks and many other clothing items are made of knitted fabrics. Knitting is done by hand and also on machines. Okay, so that's pretty much clear. Now, Children, it's the time for quiz. Quiz, like it will be a very short quiz. It will be via a Google form. I shall share the link now in the chat box. Okay, so these are the few instructions that you need to follow. Quiz will be via Google form. Link shall be shared in the chat box. You can fill the form only once. So make sure you enter correct details. Also, children, your filling of form will be taken as the attendance. So, we need to maintain records. So make sure you fill it correctly. Okay, so now I shall share the link in the chat box. Just a moment. Okay, so it's 5:33 and you have time till 5:37. Okay, it's a very short quiz and easy to do. Why am I saying that you have only 3 to 4 minutes? The reason is, we have to cover another unit, and for that we need to hustle now. Okay, so the link comes in the chat now. Okay, so you can fill it and you have time till 17:37, as I said. What did I say? 5:37? 5:38. Okay, so let's fix it at 5:38. I'm writing it in the chat box. 5:38. You have 4 minutes since it's 5:34 now. Okay. So I'll resume the class at 5:38. Okay. Okay. So children, I have received your responses. So since all have filled the form, and that's an amazing thing that you have filled it in time, that's highly appreciated. So now we shall move ahead with the lecture where we shall discuss Unit 2. I mean Unit 2 of the day, but it is technically Unit 4 of your syllabus. Okay. So that unit is, just a moment. That unit is sorting of materials, right? Sorting of materials. I'll give a brief intro here. Sorting of materials. Or let's do one thing. Let's move to this first slide that I presented today, and there I will give you a brief. Okay, just a moment. I could have done this earlier. Sorry for that. No issues. Okay. So children, now so far we have come, we have discussed fibers to fabrics, where we discussed how fiber can be prepared from fabric. First, fiber will be collected from the natural or animal resource, or it will be synthetically prepared, converted to yarn, and then to fabric. Okay, so that was basic about the unit 1. Unit 3. Now we shall go into sorting of materials into groups. Now what is sorting, children? Sorting is nothing but separating things. Separating things, right? Like if I say today I will have food or not food. Okay, so I hope you can see me. So like for example, this paperweight. Okay, this is made up of glass. This is made up of glass. Okay, so if I say anything is made up of glass. Now if I talk about this calculator. Okay, this calculator. Okay, this is a calculator. Okay, this is a calculator. So for example, if I say calculator, this calculator is made up of plastic. So how can I say that two things are different? How I'll say that this paperweight is made up of glass and this calculator is made up of plastic. So that will be a process of segregating things, sorting materials into groups. So I will keep this paperweight in the group of objects made from glass, and I'll keep calculator in a group of objects made up of plastics. Fine. Like if I say I have to segregate glass and water. So what will I say? That glass is a solid. This glass paperweight is solid and water is a liquid. So water will be kept in a group where we talk about liquid substances, liquid materials, and glass will be kept where we talk about material made up of solids. All right. So that's the basic thing. Now we'll be moving to the first topic where we shall discuss sorting of materials based on the appearance. Some things might appear beautiful, some things might not, right? Some things might appear beautiful and some things might not. So let's make this the point of difference. Not beautiful. Okay, not beautiful. So this beautiful term, or I shall replace this to the term lustrous and non-lustrous. Lustrous is nothing but shiny substances. Can you name some shiny substances? The chat is open for all. Yes, as you can see in the image here, it's gold, silver. Yes, more. Yeah, someone has written diamond. Diamond is one. Platinum. Very good. Usually metal substances are shiny. Unless they get corroded, metals are shiny in nature, and this shiny is termed as lustrous in scientific terms. And opposite of lustrous is non-lustrous, right? Something that is not shining, like wood, as shown to you all in this diagram, right? Wood. Sand is not shiny. Cork, cork, cork is not shiny. Then what else can be taken here? Plastic may not be shiny, as as shiny as lustrous, so we can keep it here. Then we can keep, what else can we keep it here? Anything around you? I'm also looking for it. um Okay, so let's write it as etc. You can check it out, and also you can go for examples over internet. There are many things. Okay, non-lustrous and lustrous. So did you get the things? Like what did I say earlier? That we are sorting materials on the basis of their properties. The first property is lustrous and non-lustrous. Okay. Okay. Like as I said, these are metals most of the time. These are non-metals most of the times. If we go to the chemical substances, then that would be out of scope because we are still in class 6 and that shall be started in class 7. Okay, so next, based upon hardness. Okay, you know, ha- based upon hardness. Some things are hard and some are soft. For example, if I take a ball of cotton and throw over you, it won't hurt you because it is soft. It can be compressed easily. But if I take a piece of brick and I throw it on you, it's definitely going to hurt you. Please don't laugh on it in chat box. It's not the matter to laugh. But yeah, that's the point of difference between substances. We can differentiate substances or materials on the basis of hardness. Some things may be hard and some may be soft. As soft as cotton, and silk is soft. Then sponge is soft, sponge, sponge. Now hard is brick, hard is iron, hard is plastic can be hard, it's not soft. Then then what else? um okay, wood is hard. Very good. Okay, so you can, yeah, you can definitely answer me in the chat very well. Okay, so now we shall move ahead with it. Okay, now based upon the solubility, what is solubility? Ability of something to dissolve. For example, if I take a glass of water and add glucose in it, what am I adding? Glucose. You might have had glucon D's. If I add glucose, it dissolves. Glucose water, right? Whereas if I add sand to water, it does not dissolve. Sand water, what happens is that sand settles down after a period of time here, but it does not dissolve. I should change the color. Let's take it as sand is okay. Let's make sand with black color, because if I make yellow, the slide is already yellow. Okay, so it does not dissolve sand, but glucose might dissolve in, will dissolve, not even might, will dissolve in water. Okay, so on that basis we can segregate, we can sort, we can differentiate the materials into two groups. First is soluble and second is insoluble. So example of soluble was glucose, and can be seen here in the image, it's sugar, right? It's sugar. Whereas as I just said, sand is not soluble in water. If I take iron nails, will they be soluble? Answer it in chat. Yes, obviously, it won't be dissolved. It won't be soluble. Does not dissolve. And wood will not dissolve. It's insoluble. And glass will not dissolve. Right? There are many things you can. Yes, yes, very good. Yes. You are right. It will also not dissolve. Yes. Okay. So I hope this is clear. It was very easy. Okay. Now, till now we have done about on the basis of appearance, then we went for solubility. Now we are moving to the next criteria. Objects may or may not float in water. What is floating? Like we have done swimming, right? This let it be a swimming pool, and this be a person swimming here. Okay, so this person can be said to be a swimming. If he does not swim, he will sink down. Okay, so opposite of floating is sinking. Okay, so for example, if I take a beaker, add water to it, and add some heavy objects like a key, coins, a brick, metal pieces, they are heavy, so they will sink. They will sink in water. Whereas if I take lighter substances such as a plastic ball, a very light plastic ball, or if I just take a feather, a bird feather, or a sponge, they will not sink in water. They will float over it. Okay, they won't go down in water. So that's again a point of differentiation. So we have studied so far based upon the appearance, based upon hardness, based upon solubility, and then objects may sink or not. So we have taken four accountabilities. First is appearance, then we went for hardness, then solubility, and then we got what, we got floating. Okay, so if you study things like this, then it's very easy to revise, right? Like, now we have studied so far 4 points. First one is appearance, then hardness, then solubility, and floating. You should know examples also. Okay. Now, based upon the transparency, this is very important. We will study a chapter in the forthcoming sessions, light. There also, it's very important to know the transparency segregation. For example, if I say there is a wall in front of me, there is a wall, it's a brick wall. And if I am standing here, can I see you standing here? No, I can't, because there is a wall in between us. Now, please don't say I will that you will come from here and you will see. No, that's not the thing we are discussing here. So, if this brick wall is replaced by a glass pane, by a glass panel. Okay, what is this happening? Yeah, if I replace this brick wall with a glass plane, then I can see you clearly, right? Agreed? Yes, of course I can see you. So based upon this phenomena, we segregate substances into three categories, because there is again, okay, so there might be a material through which we cannot see at all, no visibility. And a wall like a glass wall, we have 100% visibility. And there are few substances which are not completely, complete, does not give 100% visibility. They may give a partial visibility, right? Partially visible, not fully. Example, like for example, if the glass wall is dirty, it has so much of, so much of mist over it, I cannot see clearly through it. So that will be termed as translucent. Mark the word translucent. If I have a clean glass wall which has 100% visibility, it is transparent. Transparent. If it has zero visibility, it is termed as opaque. So we have taken three words in front of us. First one is opaque, translucent, and transparent. Opaque, zero visibility. We cannot see objects across it. Translucent, we can see the objects but not clearly. And transparent, we can see the objects clearly through it. Okay, so this is very, very important, and they may ask you question in exam as well. So please do make a note of spellings. There are many a times children know answers correctly, but if they spell it wrong, they will get only 0 marks because there is no partial marking in science. For example, this question comes for 3 mark in your exam. Okay, that define these terms. So you will define it easily. But if there are small errors in spellings, the teacher cannot give you 3 mark, cannot give you 2 mark, cannot give you 1 mark. Will definitely have to give you 0 mark, because that's the protocol we have to follow in schools. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now, okay, so we have come up very fastly here that, like, unit 2 was very short, I guess. Okay, so we have what we have discussed so far. We have discussed of sorting of materials on the basis of appearance, on the basis of hardness, on the basis of solubility, on the basis of floating in water, floatability, I can say floatability. Actually, floatability is a wrong term. This will be termed as density, but you will study this term density in your higher class, I guess probably in standard 7 or 8. Okay, and then fifth we have studied just now is the visibility. Right, what is the visibility through it? It can be partially visible, it can be fully visible, or it is not at all visible. If it's not at all visible, it is termed as opaque. Partially translucent, fully means transparent. If things are floating, they are floating, they are lighter in nature, like plastic balls and feathers. If I talk about heavy things, for example coins or keys, they just sink down in water. Solubility, we discussed about soluble substances, then insoluble substances. Example of soluble: glucose, sugar, salt. Insoluble is anything except the soluble ones. For example, wood, right? Sand, these are insoluble in water. Fine. Then if I talk about hardness, we had hard and soft. Soft as cotton, hard as brick. If I throw cotton on you, you will not get hurt. If I throw bricks on you, you will definitely get hurt. Then appearance, we had lustrous and non-lustrous things. Lustrous example is gold, silver, platinum, diamond. Non-lustrous is anything except these shiny things. For example, wood, cork, Then what else we discussed? Wood, cork, plastic, etc. Okay, so that was an easy chapter, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah, enjoyed it? You can reply in the chat. Yeah, great, great, great. Okay, so children, since we have discussed the 2 units for the day, I don't have any more things. Yeah, of course, we have a quiz again. So now I shall share the link for second quiz in the Google form, in the chat box. And children, as I said earlier, we use quiz forms to mark your attendance and note how you all are performing in class. And we have to prepare a consolidated report as well, that how the child has performed so far. So please make sure that you fill the form correctly in the sense like your spellings. You should spell your name correctly, and the contact numbers and the email IDs that we have asked you in the form, you should fill it correctly. Okay, that's a basic thing. All right, so now I'll provide the link in the chat box. Okay, so here it comes. Okay, so children, now you will have to fill this form, and after filling this form, there will be a feedback form in the chat. So now at this moment, you have to fill 2 Google forms. First one is your quiz form, and the second one is your feedback form. Okay, in feedback form you have to do nothing but just provide a feedback. For example, you will choose that which class or which session you have studied so far today, whether it was class 6 science or class 6 maths. that you will fill in. Then you will have to enter your name and how was the session, rating from 1 to 5. And if you have any other comments or feedback, you can answer it there. Okay, so that's again a very easy thing. Now I shall share it in the chat. Okay. Control V, and now. Okay. Okay, so it was great meeting all of you. So thank you everyone. I enjoyed a lot. Thanks a lot. It was great meeting you all today. Okay, so now I shall see you in the next class, children, where we will be discussing Unit 5 and Unit 6. So, what is your homework? You have to just revise Unit 3 and 4 that we did today. Okay, you just have to revise it, practice NCRT problems, and if you have any doubts, we shall answer it in the next class. Also, the forms you are filling today, we shall discuss it in the next class if required. Okay.